Slick, still worried about the Nets despite their play-in win?
Still worried. I don't know that worried about what. I knew that they were going to beat the Cavs. Okay. Am I worried that they're not going to perform against the Boston Celtics? Actually, the game itself probably would have lessened my worries. They toyed with the Cavaliers.
Thank you.
And loved seeing Kyrie Irving balance his game between playmaking and scoring. Kevin Durant demonstrating that he's ready to lead the charge when it comes to defense. Might be a few concerns about Seth Curry going scoreless or Nick Claxton going missing 5 of 6 from the free throw line. But what worries me and where my worry is raised is what was said after the win by Bruce Brown and then the response from Kevin Durant. Can we hear the comments by these two gentlemen?
I mean, we can't let Tatum get 50. We got to be physical with them. Now they don't have Robert Williams, so they have less of a presence in the paint, and we could attack Al Horford and Tice. So them not having Robert Williams is huge.
That's just how Bruce is. You know, he comes in and he says that, you know, he keeps the same energy throughout the whole season. So, but, yeah, like, we don't need to say like that. Let's just go out there and hoop.
All right, so number one, the problem with the Brooklyn Nets since Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant joined them is an inflated sense of who they are and what they've accomplished. They just want to play in game to get the right to play the Boston Celtics, the number 2 team in the Eastern Conference. I don't want to hear about talking about how you're going to exploit them because they got one guy missing, okay? You're the underdog. Respect that opponent. That's what KD took issue with. But even the way, and I appreciate that KD said what he said, but even KD was kind of half-stepping. That's kind of just Bruce Brown. No, if you're going to be a leader of a team, if you're going to lead a team to a championship, set the standard. We don't talk about our opponents disrespectfully. Period. Not that ain't Bruce Brown. Not, you know what, he had some caffeine before the game. He was just kind of, no. Set the standard. Lead your team. Now, the challenge in doing that is that you have to be up to the same standard. You can appreciate this, Marcellus. My greatest concern with my kids is the example that I set. Not by what I say, but what I do, because that is what they take their leadership from. And that concerns me every single day, because if I show any variance, if I show any exception, I can't say do what I say and not what I do. I need to set that example. I need KD. If we're talking about championship, and Marcellus, you've talked about nothing but they're winning a championship, then I can't have any fissures here. I can't have any half-stepping when it comes to leadership, and I sure as hell can't have Bruce Brown talking about a team that has done far more this season than mine has and how we're going to be able to take advantage of them because they're missing one of their players. You happen to be missing one of your players, too. Should we be talking about that?
Slick, slick, slick. Let's do this. As much as you pulled at my heartstrings, Acho tries that same trick, brings up MJ, and then all of a sudden, oh, Marcel's going to get soft on me. No, I go harder because I love my MJ hard. I'm going to go hard on you, too, because when you criticize my Brooklyn Nets, you criticize KD, you criticize Bruce Brown, we got problems, homeboy. Let's talk about this. I don't need KD in that moment to set the standard about what should we do as the Brooklyn Nets in terms of viewing our opponents to the audience, to the reporters, to y'all and the public, to fans. No, I need to make sure I say what I say, keep it as soft as possible, and then I go back to Bruce Brown and I let him know for real what the real really is. I learned this as a parent, Slick, that you should have few rules and minimum enforcement. Heard that one place. Few rules so the kids don't get confused. You don't want to have 1,000 rules because the kids can't step anywhere. Next thing you know, you be like, why my kid is not challenging himself and daring out there and courageous because he don't know where to go. Few rules, minimum enforcement. That's kind of how the world works. There are only a few things you can't do. Don't go kill somebody, don't go hurt somebody, don't go rob somebody. Everything else, hey, love somebody all you want. Go party all day. Go kick it. You can do whatever you want. I tell my kids all the time when they can't get what they want, I'm like, there are way more things you can do than you can't do, so realize that. I think KD privately went to Bruce Brown and said, hey, man, I just wanted to let everyone know that we don't accept that, but I'm going to let you know for real what I don't accept. Now let me get back on topic, because I'm not worried about these Nets in the play-in game. Acho and I talked about this. What the hell are y'all doing? This team right here is ready to go out there and beat the Boston Celtics in their pursuit of a championship. And their championship level, led by two champions in Kyrie Irving and KD, and they're championship ready. Only thing I saw from what Slick just highlighted that can make you worry is the fact that Bruce Brown gave the game plan to the Boston Celtics, which was the same game plan that they had for the Cleveland Cavs. Remember, Jared Allen was out, all-star. They said, all right, we're going to go get it. We're going to attack. Now you talk about Robert Williams is out. All right, here's the game plan. We're going to attack. Outside of that, there was nothing that concerned me in a 40-20 lead in the first quarter and toying with their opponents, the Cleveland Cavs.
The only thing that concerns me, Slick, is the fact that now it comes down to the Celtics. And the Celtics have given these Nets that work. When KD and Kyrie got buckets. We've seen KD and Kyrie get buckets before. They got buckets last night, combined for 59 points. They got buckets the last time they played the Celtics. I believe it was early March, combined for 56 points. But when KD and Kyrie get buckets, is it enough? Because can they defend? I understand what you can do offensively, but Ben Simmons ain't coming back anytime soon. So get all the buckets you want, but it's undermined if you're giving up more buckets than you're getting offensively. Jayson Tatum's going to go in. He's a first-team player this year, playing as best as he's ever played. So when I see the Nets, I understand, yes, KD, Kyrie, they are dominant, but I'm not so distracted by their offensive dominance that I forget you got to play another side of the court. Seth Curry, you talk about him, Slick Rick, going over. I'm not as worried about that as you got to play defense too now. And Tatum and Brown ain't no slouches now. You got to play defense too now. And those dudes out there know how to get buckets. Yeah, KD, Kyrie, y'all combined for it was 56 points the last time you played the Celtics. But Tatum had 54 alone. So understand now who the opponent is. They dominated the Cavs, up by 20 at the first, up by 20 by half, dominated the Cavs. This ain't that. That ain't this. Celtics a different type of beast.
Yeah, no, it's true. And you got Marcus Smart, who's going to be presumably matched up against Kyrie Irving. Marcus Smart was at the top of my Defensive Player of the Year ballot for what he's done for the Boston Celtics this year. So I don't know that you can expect the same from Kyrie Irving. And Kyrie Irving's going to have to play at the other end. Scored 34, if I'm not mistaken, was only a +2 overall against the Cavs. The indicator is, yeah, he's scoring, but he's also giving it up at the other end. And that's where a Seth Curry going scoreless, if Kyrie Irving's going to get that Marcus Smart work, then Seth Curry's going to have to be able to deliver. But you guys are dismissing the whole Bruce Brown. You're minimizing the whole Bruce Brown statement.
Why?
You just saw what a disrespected player can do to a greater opponent in Pat Beverly and what he did to the Los Angeles Clippers.
Good point.
He had something to play for. You can't tell me that Daniel Tice and Al Horford and the Celtics collectively, as a result of Bruce Brown talking about, like, yeah, you know what, they don't have Robert Williams, so they're not going to quite be the same, that those guys aren't going to come with a certain amount of fire to say, oh, yeah, let me show you. And the other part is, Robert Williams could be back any day now. He's not expected to play in game one, but we'll see. He could be back for this series. So now you're setting yourself up for, oh, well, the reason that we've got an advantage is because that guy ain't there. Okay, so that guy comes back. Now what do you have? And Marcellus, I love you basically agreeing with me in that KD needs to keep a hard line on Bruce Brown and what he said and not half-step. Because you're like, yeah, you know what, he half-stepped publicly. But I'm sure that privately, he's taking care of business the way it needs to be taken care of.
Yeah.
Let's not make any mistake. Like, that's not right. Now, never mind the bulletin board material. It's the mentality that you're not going up against a decidedly superior opponent, and you need to bring everything based on where you've been for the better part of this season. That's the biggest part that worries me about Bruce Brown being so casual, about saying, yeah, we're going to be able to unlock the Celtics defense because they don't have Robert Williams.
Well, I didn't take it as him not respecting his opponents. I took it as more he disrespected his team by telling them the game plan. I think he has respect for them. He's just like, look, this is a gaping hole that we have to exploit, which will help us unlock them. I don't know. I can't read his mind. But one thing I do know from sports, you know this, Slick, ain't nobody giving you more than 100%. So I hate when we say, oh, you done messed up and ticked them off. I'm like, dog, I already expected 100% from him. If he wasn't going to give it to me, and then all of a sudden I said something and he going to now give it to me, you have not taken me anywhere in my mind. You went somewhere from going 95%. Oh, did Wiley clown me? I'm going 100. I ain't scared of nobody 100 because my 100 going to get your 100. Or it's not. Simple as that. So if I'm KD, maybe he went back to Bruce Brown like, hey, man, you ain't got to tell everybody our business, but all right, that's it. I mean, you never know how this plays out because KD is a pure hoopster. He's about the game. So he's like, look, let these buckets do the talking. All that podium speak, good or bad, ain't for us.